Crimes are often a really interesting way into a story. It's not necessary that the crime be an enormous one or a catastrophic one. In the case of writing The Orchid Thief, the crime of stealing orchids out of a swamp that was federally protected might not on the surface seem like an earth-shattering, headline-grabbing crime. What it did, though, is give me a window into an entire world, a world that I knew nothing about and that was first introduced to me because of that crime. Similarly, the fire at the library, which was in fact catastrophic, became an entry point into the entire story of the library, into the question of why it means so much to us to have a library burn. Hard to really isolate the very best piece of advice that I got when I started writing, because I got a lot of good advice. And I would say the first thing to do is to appreciate the fact that it's a complex, challenging undertaking to write, and that there is a lot of advice that is worth taking. But the very best piece of advice that I can remember initially is to enjoy and savor the experience of writing. And that sounds so easy, but in fact, I think when you're writing, you often feel a lot of anxiety and the pressure of trying to make it good and the worry about whether you're making sense. And in the course of that, you often forget to just settle down and enjoy the craft and the art of constructing a sentence, of choosing words. If you can hold on to that, it can really help you dig in to the pleasurable parts of writing. And in many ways, it relieves some of the more stressful parts, which in the long run is going to make you a better writer. I go back and forth. There are days when I am absolutely convinced that he didn't do it because he had no real reason to do it. And people generally don't start fires unless they have something to gain by it. And then I think of the evidence and the fact that he knew things about the fire that would have really required him to be there to know those things. And his mess of alibis, which were not very convincing, and in many cases were obviously and patently untrue. And I can't help but think that he was covering something up and that he did do it.